Let's go with the green flag. Is that a Supra? Who did it? Come on! Good one!
Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Grom swap. So what this video is going to be about is prepping the engine a little bit. Got some things to do with the wiring harness, and I want to get this hung up onto the frame. Most of the tediousness of this build is going to be running all the wiring harness and doing all the swap adapters and everything else. So just today, all of my stuff from Wicked Grom came in. Looks fantastic. This is one of the things we'll be doing is the injector elbow, and I don't think any of the other, oh no, here's one more of the things that we'll be doing. The block off plate. So a couple of things we're going to do real quick before we get into it is we're going to remove this, the reed valve for the secondary air injection nonsense BS California crap. We're going to remove that. We got to take the throttle body off and get the elbow on there. I think we're going to have to remove some of these wire tenders that are up under here. But another thing we're going to do is, while all of this harness is off, we're going to delete all of the charcoal canister crap. And this is the pair secondary air injection nonsense crap solenoid. And we should be able to do this pretty simply to disconnect these, and I'm probably going to de-pin and just tie the wires together. Same with this one here. The only things we're really going to have left is this is the tank vent, and I'm probably just going to zip tie it together with this actual overflow. Since they both drain together, I'm probably just going to zip tie these together. May end up putting them up here, not sure yet, but it's just a tank vent, so we shouldn't have any problem with that. I think that's pretty much all we're going to do here. This is the bracket from Wicked Grom. Fantastic quality, I love it. I really want this thing mobile. I'm tired of it just being a freaking abomination and a pariah in my garage. I can't move it around, so that's kind of the push to just get the thing set up in there so I can at least move this thing around and pull it out to work on it and put it back in there instead of tripping over all this crap. So let's get right to it. First things we're gonna do, since this is out, we're gonna take this off and we're gonna take off the throttle body. It should be pretty cut and dried, 8mm. That looks like 8mm there. And just get this stuff pulled off. And I think there should be a, there it is. Can you see this? This little nipple sticking out here? That will be a vacuum leak. We're gonna have to just put a little a plug on that. That is from here, I believe, right? Throttle body, yep. So that will be from here, and we just need to plug that so we don't have a vacuum leak. So let me get some wrenches and let's pull these things off. I want to go over this while I take it off. The two 8mm, and this fella comes off, and then you can just put a screwdriver in there and this whole thing pries out. We do need this little rubber gasket around here. You could probably make a gasket or use a blue RTV, but I really don't want to do that. We can remove this worthless thing out of here. You can probably just put the block off plate and leave it, but I've read a lot about a vibration and a rattle people here. So we're just going to take this little screw out and remove this reed off the back and put this all back together, and then put the block off plate back on with the provided screws. And that should be it for this part of it. Update real quick, got that off of there. The screw is a little hard to get out, but you did take the screw off and everything fell apart. Threw it all back together, put the main frame of that reed back in here, screw this down nice and even. I do have a vacuum cap, This is important. Probably gets forgotten a lot. We get vacuum leaks. Wonder why the thing doesn't run right. Put them on that little nipple there and that's done. Throttle body came off, loosen the 2 screws. And the left screw there is onto the head and the right screw is onto the throttle body, but I loosened them both because I don't know if we got to take this off or we're going to reuse it again. But that's our throttle body. I love looking at it. I think it's just the neatest little things. Technology's come so far from old carbureted stuff. But anyway, so now that that's off, I think, oh, that's main wiring harness. That's just a crankcase breather that went to the airbox. We can probably just put a filter on that later. And these are the starter wires and starter solenoid. That's just a rad hose I've left. I'd like to not have to buy those $100 radiator hoses from Steady Garage. The Chimera hoses are like $100. I'm hoping I can reuse these and cut them up a little bit so they work. Don't know, we'll see. I am going to take this off right now, this bracket for the charcoal canister, because we don't need it. As far as the IAC, not the IAC, the pair system, just disconnect this, okay, and that's that. You see that was for the head, and I believe that was to the airbox. Yeah, there's to the airbox. So we can put this on our shelf, save these little clips that are on these hoses. You don't know what you might need later. I save everything, put that aside. And for this, we should be able to just cross the wires over. Like I said, I'm going to depin it. I'm going to try to depin it. I don't want to cut it off, but I might just cut the whole pigtail off down here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I just decided. I'm going to cut this whole pigtail off down here and just clip this back on that solenoid. And I'll just tape the wires. I'll twist them and tape them. And I think we'll still end up getting a check engine light on some of this stuff. But when we get the A-Racer and stuff in, we can probably just delete those codes and not worry about it. Like I said, this is the drain off the charcoal canister. And I'm just going to zip tie these together for now. I'll just leave them together, not worry about it. Take that little clip off of there, save little hose clips. Thing I'm going to do now, take this bracket off, and I'm going to cut these wires on both of these, including this one. I'm going to cut these pigtails off and twist, I'm going to cut these pigtails off and twist the wires and put all this stuff to the side. Remove our little hose clips and all of our little hoses we might be able to use later for a different project. So, oh, that little fella. Go put him in the excess parts pile. So that's where we're at now. Quick little update. Block is ready. And I cut, twisted, and instead of taping I did heat shrink and doubled it over and then put larger heat shrink on them. So I need more electrical tape. I'm out somehow. I don't know how that happened. And I'm going to go ahead and tape all, God, I'm terrible today. I'm going to get all these taped up so they're not just hanging out loose like this. And it'll clean up the harness a little bit. The less of all of this crap that we have hanging around, the better. Here's our coil pack, and this is what we need to make sure that you have off your donor, is this spark plug boot. I talked about this in the other one. I hate to say things out loud that are going to get me flamed. I don't know what this is. I just unbolted it from the 300, and on the Grom it's actually right there. Don't know what it is. I'm gonna unbolt it off the Grom and bolt this one back on. I'm sure somebody will say in the comments whether it's necessary or not. Maybe the Grom one's just fine. I really don't know what this is. Is it a grounding device? Is it a tip sensor? Is that what it is? The bike falls over? Maybe that's what it is. It's the tip sensor. And that's why it's held level. I don't know. We'll see. The harness is pretty much, I know the coil pack is good for either bike. Probably gonna use this one just because it was on the 300 and I know the 300 was running. I don't know. Trying to get odds and ends that go through here. I'm sure I'll go over some of these things multiple times. I know the fuel line is too short from the 300. And we're using the Grom tank. And I still have my fuel line on the Grom. I have it wrapped up back and over there, irrelevant. I left that on there just to keep everything clean because I taped off the other end of the fuel line. So what we're gonna do next, I'm trying to make sure I'm not talking out of my ass. I think we're gonna bolt the bracket to the frame. I know a lot of people bolt it to the engine and then bolt everything up, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna bolt this to the frame. Our injector relocator. That's what we need to put on. Apparently it's super difficult when you try to do it. Not on the bike. So got all of our little goodies in there. We're gonna go ahead and love it. Look at that. It says Wicked Grom in there. That's fantastic. Excellent quality stuff and amazing. I've been emailing him back and forth. Amazing customer service. Gonna put the elbow on here real quick. I'm not gonna do a super job. I'm just gonna put it on there so it's on there. And I believe it has to face throttle side, right? I'll come back to it. So that's what we're doing. Gonna mount this on here just loosely, and gonna mount this to the frame. And when I think these are the way that these brackets go, the roller part goes second hole up, then this one, and then the one with the relief cut into it. Because I think the relief is for up here, maybe somewhere around here. I don't know, but I think that's the way these bolts go in. But I'll come back to you. Two things real quick. First, I took the nut off the swing arm bolt to get this rear set enough slack to rotate around this far. Something I've noticed, I was holding this bracket up here. As you can see, this is how it's gonna line up. See the problem out there? Guess that was for like a drain hose or something. No, a vent. Because this is the fuel drain. I think that might have been for a vent. Don't know. But gonna break that off somehow. Doesn't really matter how. Pair of pliers, get a screwdriver, use a grinder, a torch, yank it off with a truck, chew on it. I'm probably just gonna get a pair of pliers and bend it till it snaps off. So we got to get that out of the way to get this bolt on and off. This is the lower bolt, the one that had this on it, and this spacer. This is just put that back in there, Jared, before I lose track of what I'm doing. It's off the rear set there. This spacer here will go right in here, like so. So that'll go in there, and then this little fella goes on the back side over here, and then the other bracket goes on the end. So you know how everything lines up. But let's go ahead and remove this problem. Update. So we have the roller side on the bottom here. This one up here, this one took a little persuasion to get it to fit in there. It's a very tight fit, very happy with that. This is a solid piece. There's no cutout on this one. Okay. This is the one with the cutout, and it goes clutch side. As you can see, we are on clutch side of the bike. Clutch side is where this cutoff is. So let me squeeze down on over here. Show what it looks like over here. So this is your one spacer. This is the top one. Here's your other spacer. If you can bear with me here. My stupid monkey arms are getting in the way. There. And then this bottom one down here. Okay, I've left all these loose. I'm probably just gonna take a full nut on all of these just so it's a little bit more snug. And we're gonna put our elbow on, and then we're going to hang the motor. I'm actually extremely excited about this. Two things to note. One, this needs to be broken off. And two, if you left your ground wire on from the starter, you need to at least loosen this so it rotates, because it hits the nut back here, and that wire tender hits right here. So now that I've removed those, we're gonna go back up. Also, I pulled off the crankcase breather. Probably gonna end up running that up through here, put a small filter on or something. I removed it for right now. Don't let anything fall into that. You really need to tape over it. Okay, a couple things and then we're done. First of all was my dilemma, this bolt down here. I very nearly took all of this apart because this is the only one that goes in from that direction. The nut is on this side instead of the head of the bolt. Really, really upsetting me. I'm trying to ignore it. I think once I forget that it's backwards, my OCD will shut up and it won't bother me anymore. But it really is. All of the bracketing for the kickstand was in the way. The only way to put the bolt in from that direction was to take out this bolt and let everything swing forward, put that bolt in, and then swing everything back. I'm still not 100% that I'm not going to do that because I'm a freaking idiot. But anyway, a couple things that I did notice when I was putting all this together. The first is the shifter. I know a lot of you are probably screaming at me why I still have this rear set on in their factory rear sets. You do have to take the shifter off for the rear set. It just gets in the way. We're gonna have to cut this off where the original shifter was on the Grom to make room for an aftermarket shifter. I read that the hammerhead shifter is really good. I'm assuming off a CRF 250 or something. Don't know. Gonna have to read on that a little bit more. Bottom line is it's in. The engine is sitting in. It's loose. Nothing is tight. I've just set everything in case I have to take something back off or something else. But it is all in. Our little elbow is up here. Oh, there we go. Little elbow's up here. Sitting in there nicely. It is such a tight fit. I don't know what we're gonna do with this wire tender. I think it'll be okay. Put it up out of the way. All of the other parts that came with this kit are down there with the throttle body and fuel line and stuff. We'll deal with that another time. The goal of this video was to get this engine in the frame so I can now move it around, whatever I need to do. It is now in the frame so I can move it around or do whatever I need to do. I'm probably just going to drape all the harness and everything up on top of the bike for now, like I have the controls off the 300 donor. And we're going to call it quits for a little bit on this. Parts that I still need other than the shifter, I need the A-Racer and AF2. I'm going to have to fabricate the radiator brackets for this. I'm not going to buy them. Hoses unless I end up buying them. I do have the stock header off of this. I'm going to try to use that at least temporarily. Eventually I'll probably buy the really nice header pipe that's built for these, and I still need sprockets and a chain. Other than that, I think that's it from stuff I need to buy. The only other thing I want to do that's not necessary is I want to send my tank in to LaVista, is that how you say his name? Paul LaVista, whatever, and have him extend the tank. It's like $400 for double the size of the tank, which even with the 170 kit on this, it was running out of fuel in like 80 miles. So really like to get that well over 100, and that's what I do with my 650, so I'd be in good shape then. So anyway, that's where we're at. Yeah, we'll be back for part 3 on this, and we'll do some harnessing stuff. So thanks everybody.
Come on, boss! Come on! Yeah!